Ethan Hunt returns for his 97th Mission Impossible movie, and this one's a direct continuation of the last, which was titled Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. So naturally, this one's titled Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. We just went ahead and skipped on over Dead Reckoning Part 2. Maybe that one's coming down the road. No, this promises to be the most action-packed, biggest stunt, final mission for Ethan Hunt and his crew to go on until probably the next 10. So strap the self-censored beep in, because I'm going to be talking about Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning for the final time. Let's begin. This is probably not the best one to start with, but also it's kind of the perfect one to start with, because there's so much exposition in this movie, you kind of feel like you watched the entire collection in one. But before I put on the scuba gear and dive into this, if you wouldn't mind diving into the subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, hitting the notification bell, that way future videos by me will show up in your feed. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course YouTube. All right, let's get into a pretty spoiler-free review. I say pretty because I'm going to use some examples to accentuate my points, but nothing's going to be giving away intricate plot details. Now, a little while back, I talked about how if you hadn't seen one of these movies before, that this one is an okay place to start. Do you remember when that happened? A little while back. This is probably not the best one to start with, but also it's kind of the perfect one to start with. So what I did right there is reminded you of what I said earlier, but also showed you the previous footage, because I think you're too stupid to comprehend words as I say them, and you have the memory of a goldfish. And I'm saying this sarcastically because I'm giving you more credit than this movie is. The film, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, treats the audience like complete dipshits. I want to let you know before I get too deep into this that I was very disappointed with the movie, and I am a big fan of this franchise. 2 was the worst for me, like it is for most, but I'm willing to put this one lower. It is the worst Mission Impossible movie to date. And the reasons are aplenty. One of those points I just brought up. The script treats the audience like they're dumber than a box of rocks. It's going to repeat, and then it's going to repeat some more. Like we're in Tom Cruise's other, much better film, Edge of Tomorrow. And a lot of this is going to happen in the first 90 minutes. And I say first, because this is almost a 3-hour tour. These Mission Impossible movies keep getting longer, and it's a problem, because they don't have enough depth in the story. There's not enough interesting characters to hold the thing up, and there are not enough Tom Cruise stunts in the world to keep me occupied for 3 hours. And that's sad to say, but that's also a problem with the movie is the stunts. I'll get there, but let me finish off the stupidity of the story. We are realistically 8 movies deep now. You have the first 3 Mission Impossibles, you have Ghost Protocol, my personal favorite, you have Rogue Nation, another favorite of mine, you have Fallout, and then you have these Dead Reckoning films. Fallout, Dead Reckoning Part 1 got really long. Fallout is great, it's a solid time, but my God, it just never ends with this. And so 8 movies in, we have the playbook over and over. Ethan Hunt accepts an impossible mission that's incredibly possible at this point. He's done it so many times. He's going to go on the run. He's going to do things by his own playbook. He inevitably will get framed for something he's trying to stop. Wash, rinse, repeat. What made these formulaic and often silly premises work is how rapid fire the movies worked and how great the chemistry was with his team, with the crew. They each had their specialties and they always played off each other in such fun, interesting ways. And each movie would always shake up the formula a little bit by adding another crew member or putting one of them in a different scenario they're not used to. But here, with this Final Reckoning, we're seeing Tom Cruise by himself an awful lot of the time. And unfortunately, these moments are stale, they're overblown, they're slow, and they're just not fun. And that's where the Final Reckoning really hurts the most, is we got way too serious along the way with these films. And if you dig that vibe, then I guess maybe you'll enjoy this. I just found it to be such a dour, boring slog with some really stupid dialogue and some really repetitive dialogue. So this is part 2 of The Last Reckoning, and we are once again following the evil AI as it takes over the world. Nothing is less threatening to watch than AI. You don't see it. Once in a while it communicates via code or a voice, but it's just not an interesting villain. And on top of that, everyone refers to this thing as the Entity over and over again. The Entity is gonna take over if we don't stop it. The Entity's got control of our nukes. The Entity, the Entity, the Entity, the Entity, the Entity, shut up about the Entity. I fucking know it's the Entity. You've said it 800 times. If you and your buddies did a drinking game to this movie and you took a shot every time someone said the Entity, you would be dead of alcohol poisoning within 5 minutes. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. Since this is pretending at least to be the last movie in the franchise, it possibly could be, who can really know outside of Tom Cruise, they felt the need to circle back on the franchise as a whole and really get into that nostalgia that we all love so much. And so it's constantly going to be referencing things from past movies, not just verbally, but we got to show it because again, everyone watching is dumber than shit. So flashback here, flashback there, a flashback off yonder. We'll do a flashback after a couple minutes. We'll sprinkle in the Entity. You have to put the Entity in there, say the Entity over and over. And I honestly hate to bring this movie up because it's the worst thing to ever exist on the face of the earth. And that is The Matrix Resurrections. They do a thing in that movie, comically terrible, where they will reference the old movies every 10 minutes and do like a little clip show montage. I shit you not. The Final Reckoning does the same thing. Not just once or twice at the beginning, I mean throughout this entire ordeal, we're getting references. And maybe they're doing this early on because there really isn't a lot of action happening, so they have to show us action junkies something to buy the time while they go through the 18th exposition dump about, you guessed it, the Entity. But even in the later half, when the plot is very much moving along, we're still going back to these old greatest hits moments. As far as the supporting cast that we know and love, they're all here, they're all present. Some of them act really out of character from just the movie that came before. Haley Atwell seems a lot more caring and nurturing than previously. And Pom's character Paris, who was this Harley Quinn-esque wild card last time, just kind of chill in this one. Now, bad story and pretty awful dialogue aside, let's get to the meat of it, all right? We're here for Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise stuff. Running all over the place like the T-1000 while the cameraman struggles to keep up. Punching and shooting the shit out of people. And of course, doing a bunch of wild stunt work. Well, some of that's here, but it's all played out and kind of comes off as comical. The running has returned. It seems more pointless than ever before. At one point, he's trying to run down a plane that's clearly faster than him. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe hop in a Jeep Cherokee or something. There's one around. As for the punching and the shooting, some of his team does it. I don't know if Tom Cruise ever even fires a gun in this film, to be honest with you. I don't know if Ethan Hunt really even throws many punches. A lot of them are off camera. Oh, you know what? He does have one hand-to-hand combat fight scene. That it's all right. But this one's really selling two major showcase pieces. It's the submarine section, which does go on for like 35, 40 minutes, and the grand sequence at the end where he hangs off of a yellow vintage Sturman biplane. This is how he hangs off of it, just how I did. Whoa! Now, normally, I'm a huge champion of practical effects and stunt work. I celebrate Jackie Chan's entire catalog. Love all the TC early stuff in the Mission Impossible series, dangling off the side of the world's tallest building. I'm all in. However, I'm also of the mind that when we're doing these stunts, they need to look kick-ass. They need to look cool, and they need to showcase the character in the best light. Ethan Hunt, who's essentially just Tom Cruise at this point, hanging off the side of this plane while the wind is ravaging his face. Pushing down his hair, making him look like Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber, just isn't the cool factor I think they wanted us to see. What I'm getting at is watching Jackie Chan spin a ladder around his body, flipping it over his head, taking guys out with it, looks cool as shit. Him practically doing it elevates it. It makes the hero more impressive. Watching Tom Cruise geriatrically breakdancing around this wing of a plane does not elevate the material. In fact, it hinders the performance of Ethan Hunt's character, making him look old and struggling to do something an agent would be kick-ass at doing. Because now I'm not watching Ethan Hunt, I'm watching Tom Cruise do something impressive for a mere mortal. I want to watch Ethan Hunt, though, like he was in the first movie, sticking some gum to a helicopter and flying through a tunnel onto the side of a train. That's badass. I think I'm making my point, but that's all right if I'm not. We'll move on past it. Regardless, obviously, it's impressive what the stunt team, what Tom Cruise and the director and all these guys are able to pull off. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying, as a movie watcher, it's not really translating, I think, how they wanted to. As for the submarine at the bottom of the ocean, it's a cool set piece. It gets more impressive as it goes on. It kind of feels like they built this entire movie around getting him into this sub. And then once he's there, it's just kind of him, moving around it a lot. And they're just really taking, they spent a lot of money on this sequence. They're going to milk it for all it's worth. And the problem is it's just not worth that much until the shit hits the fan. I do want to point out something, though, that's really silly, and it's a me problem, of course, but these movies aren't remotely plausible, but I turn my brain off to enjoy the fun. He's a secret agent, he's the best of the best, he's amazing, blah, 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 fine. What makes me chuckle, though, is when they go that extra step out of their way to do something kind of dumb that doesn't need to happen, nor does it do anything to the character other than make him look invincible. I'm going to give you an example because this part made me laugh. When he makes his approach to the submarine he's going to board, he's moving at an incredible speed because the turbine on the back of this thing is sucking him in. So he's like, under the water, he's got his scuba suit on, and he is barreling right at this thing. And so he's contorting his body to try to get away from it. And I'm just thinking, oh man, this is pretty. And then he hits it. He hits the front of it like, and at that moment, I'm thinking, oh, so he's dead, and it's enough to hit it once. But then he clips it again by the legs and ragdolls a bunch of times. And then I'm thinking, well, if he's not dead, he's broken his legs. But no, nothing happens. He's perfectly fine. That was nothing to him. What? And so I have to kind of laugh because they didn't need to put that in the movie at all. It doesn't add anything to the story. And it doesn't make him look like a badass. It makes it look like he fucked up and he had no consequences for it. So, all right. Outside of the evil AI known as the Entity, Gabriel returns. He was the bad guy in the last movie who's working directly with the Entity. I don't know what happened to him in between movies, but now he's just a joke. He's just a caricature, manically laughing, popping up here and there. Try to get me this time, Ethan. I'm gonna catch you. Skiddy. Speaking of music, another area where the past Mission Impossible movies really excelled. That theme song is a banger. It would also have a bunch of other cool songs that just kind of pump you up and get you in the mood. Here, though, because everything is so somber, the music matches. A lot of just low hums and just kind of miserable music playing alongside of our heroes. I was in probably a 30% filled theater, and some of the audience clapped when the movie ended. It's possible they were clapping because it was over and they can finally go to the bathroom, or they just really enjoyed it. Probably the latter. So that being said, people obviously had a good time with it. I went with one buddy. We couldn't get into it. It's a shame. Again, I'm a big fan of this franchise. I've seen them all multiple times. I love the stunt work. I love the larger-than-life action set pieces. But the direction they took these final two installments, mainly this one, where everything just becomes kind of a generic, boring, dumb-sounding film. Here's one last thing to kind of put a bow on it. At some point in the movie, a general or something utters, "He did it." And then I turned to my friend, I said, "That son of a bitch did it." And right after I said that, the general did. Just so stock and generic. It felt like a movie that was ripping off Mission Impossible and not being another entry. And it's just overall, it felt narratively like they didn't know where they were gonna go. And they had a couple crazy ideas for stunts, and they just thought, yeah, we can build something to get to these places. We can get Tom Cruise globe-trotting every other day in a different location to just knock out these final few things he wants to do off his bucket list. It's a watchable movie for sure, but it's kind of a mess. And all the callbacks, all the unnecessary ties to what came before did nothing but make me roll my eyes. All right, I think I've said enough. If I keep going, this review is gonna be longer than the movie. It's impossible. It's mission impossible. All right, thanks for watching. Again, check out the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can like this video on some of those platforms, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. Take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge. Appreciate your time. Thanks.